5 tips for dealing with car crash insurance adjusters in Indiana. This video is specifically made for people that are trying to negotiate car crash settlement without an attorney. There's a couple of reasons why a person may not want an attorney for a car crash case. The top one being is that the medical bills and the injuries were not significant. Say under $5,000, or there was an emergency room or urgent care visit followed with a visit to the primary care physician. There's just not a lot of medical bills to support, hey, I don't need an attorney, I can get this done. So the number one tip for dealing with an insurance adjuster in Indiana is be nice. I'm not saying you got to be a pushover. I'm not saying you got to be their best friend, because the insurance company is not your friend. But be nice. That may or may not sound crazy, but hear me out. When people are pleasant, when people are nice, the other person does not dread having to call them, having to deal with them. And so what that means for an injury case is, well, you don't have to agree, but you don't have to be mean about it. Well, I want to offer you $2,000 for your car crash. Thank you for offering that. I appreciate you offering that. But there's nowhere even close to being appropriate because X, Y, and Z. So be nice, because if you're able to get a relationship going back and forth, well, that might amount to an increased money in your pocket. They're not your friends, though. And be careful making any type of admission to the insurance adjuster, because whether they tell you or not, that call is recorded and they're taking notes. Number two, listen. When people are in car crashes, they still have to do like normal stuff. They have to be a parent. They have to work. They have to take care of the people around them and still have to do all the normal things they had to do before the car crash. And then now you have to actually deal with the car crash. So sometimes it's easy to kind of get a little bit frustrated. It's easy to get a little bit resentful that you have to deal with this thing. And then you have somebody you're trying to persuade to your side. And I have heard the recordings of people that have hired us later. They get frustrated and they don't listen. They're cutting people off. Oh, you're not listening to me. You're jumping in. But the reality is, listen to the insurance adjuster. Don't call them when you're in a rush. I'm not saying you have to agree with the insurance adjuster, but let them talk. Sometimes they say silly things too. Well, we know our guy caused the accident, but we don't think you're going to get much money, so let's try to find a common denominator. They just admitted they're at fault. Or another example, hey, we don't think all of your injuries are related because you've had back pain in the past. Okay, hold on. That's information you can use to try to increase the amount of money they give you. So listen to what they're saying. Even if you don't agree with it, let them finish their sentences and then respond. And then they should listen to you as well. They're trained to listen to you because they're trying to get you to make as many statements that hurt your case as possible. But listen to them as well. Number three, you want to be organized with your case. You want to get copies of your medical records. You want to get copies of your medical bills. You want to get copies of anything you've paid out of pocket. And you want to make sure you have copies of anything called liens. If your car insurance, if your health insurance pays medical bills for you because of an auto accident, your car insurance and health insurance, they're going to want to get paid back if there's a settlement. Most people are shocked by that. But there's 4 things you have to keep track of at the very minimum for an injury case: medical records, medical bills, your out-of-pocket expenses, and any kind of notice of liens. Huge. As a bonus, you probably want to keep pictures and any kind of statements or police reports, anything like that. But you have to keep organized. And when you talk to the insurance adjuster, keep notes. You use your phone. That note app is just amazing. I do so much stuff in there. Some of my friends still have a little pad of paper in their pocket and they write down notes when they talk to important people. But take notes and be organized. You can hold people accountable to things they said in the past. Very important. Number 4, if you're asking the insurance adjuster to pay for a medical record or pay for a medical bill, you're going to have to provide documentation of that. If you're asking them to include in their settlement the amount you paid out of pocket, you have to have documentation of that. If you're asking them to take care of medical liens, you got to take care of that. And if you listen to my advice so far, you're going to have all those documents to provide documentation because you're keeping notes and documents as you go along. Never give the insurance company the original copy. Don't do that. But how easy is it nowadays? You can take a picture on your phone and you basically have a copy, or you can just put it through your scanner and you have a copy there. But you have to get them documentation. You can't just expect them to take your word on it. One of the harder things too is wage loss. When a person takes off time from work to go to the doctor, to get treatment, you can go to the pharmacy or get physical therapy. A lot of employers are like, hey, just do your personal time or just use vacation. So they don't really lose money, But if you're taking time off work, your vacation and personal time isn't to go to the doctor for someone's when they hurt you. No, that's supposed to be your time. So keep track of the time you take off work. And that's super important because you don't want to be using your vacation time or personal time to go to the doctor. That's not fun. That's not your personal time. That's somebody made you do that. So keep track of that as well and provide that documentation to the adjuster to try to get paid back. The fifth and final tip for dealing with car crash adjusters in Indiana is remember, these people are not your friends. They are trained to be friendly because they know that if they're friendly, you likely will let your guard down and be friendly in return. And like my tip number one, be nice, but these people are not your friends. Insurance companies are making record profits here, not because they're paying out claims. They're making record profits because they're not paying out claims. And every interaction you have with the insurance company, even if they're trying to be nice, even if you think they're trying to be friendly, every time they call you, they're trying to get you to make some sort of admission to hurt your case so they pay you less. Never forget that. So here's one little tip when you're talking with the insurance adjuster. When they ask you a question, take a breath before you respond. What's your name? Marc Lopez. That sounds kind of crazy, right? Why do that? Because taking that breath will allow you to think about your response. And this is something I tell people in trial all the time. Take a breath before you respond because it allows you to collect your thoughts and not just shoot from the hip. You want to have a calm, collected response because the insurance company, they're not your friend. Those are the 5 tips for dealing with insurance adjuster after a car crash case in Indiana. If you have any questions, give me a call, 317-632-3642. Talk about injury law all day. And here at the Marc Lopez Law Firm, we understand that people who have been in car crashes often experience a significant amount of frustration. Allow the Marc Lopez Law Firm to turn that frustration into compensation.